Hey everyone, it's Tracy with Weaver Design Company, and today I wanted to do a continuation of the video that I posted a couple days ago of just recreating a layout and trying to make it better or reconfigure it. That's what designers do. As I said before, we all kind of have that curse and we can't help it. So what you're going to see is 3 hours of me drafting condensed into 15 minutes. So it's going to go warp speed. It's going to go really quickly until about the last few minutes of it. And then I slow it down so that you can compare and see what I've done. I assumed people wouldn't want to see 3 hours of me drafting entirely. And I just wanted to say, in terms of like design, the way I look at it, the best analogy I can come up with would be the rocks in a jar, pebbles in a jar analogy. So you have a clear jar and you want to fill it as much as possible. So to me, when we are designing, I look at structure, moving walls, things like that. Those are the big rocks that we're putting into the jar. And as we go down in size, your smaller pebbles, things like that are going to be your cabinet placement, cabinet sizes, your fixtures, things like that. Things that are a little more semi-permanent to your space. And then as we continue to refine it, the sand that's going to fill the jar, that's going to be your material. So like your tile, your flooring, your hardware, carpet, all of those things. And with that, you have a completed jar, you have a completed design. So that's how I describe design anyway. I think it's a pretty good analogy, but let's get in here and see what I've been doing. Most of this, you're going to see me just tweaking things, refining things, centering things, checking dimensions. I'm very particular about that. I like things to line up, and my husband always makes fun of me for that, and I don't care. That's just the way I am. But yeah, that's just me tweaking all of that. And when I'm first drafting, it's going to default to certain things like doors, cabinets, and that type of thing. And if I know ahead of time, if a homeowner has a very specific door style in mind, I'm going to go ahead and set my defaults to that, so I'm not sitting there changing it. In this case, this is just me playing around with different styles. So that's what you see a lot of there. You'll see two-tone there, but that's not the final product. I actually have to go in and change all of those colors just like that. Tweaking the backsplash. I didn't think tile looked very good, so I wanted to see what it would look like. Taking the countertop all the way up to the backsplash, so that's what you see there. Then I moved on to the pantry. It's very quick there. I started out with the same color of cabinets in the kitchen, and then I changed it to white because it's a little smaller in there and I wanted it to be brighter. So typically with smaller spaces, that's what I do. I did the same thing in the laundry room. I had the cabinets dark, but I'm like, no, we're going to change those to lighter. And then I go trying to work on the floor, different styles, different colors. And the camera that I'm working in here is called a standard camera. So the best way I can explain that is, if you ever played The Sims in the 90s, I was a huge fan, and I would sit there and just draw the houses all day. Go figure. The standard camera reminds me of The Sims. So it's just really basic. All you're seeing is colors. You're not going to get reflections or anything like that. And then you'll see me switching back and forth between standard camera and physical camera. Physical camera is like an actual camera that renders images while I'm working. So the physical camera is going to show reflections. So you'll see the appliances really shine. You'll see the countertop shine just like that. That's the realistic camera, basically. And it takes up a lot of memory to use that camera, but those are the final shots that I use when I'm showing people their layout. And so here again, it's more a standard camera, just very basic, less memory. your computer runs a lot faster when you're in it. So that's why it's good to start out in that and then look at your final images in the physical camera just to see what it looks like. And I can go in there and change things like the tile, the floor, and set them to where they're matte or polished or whatever. And it does make a difference to me when you're seeing it. So that's me just playing around with the bathroom. And I decided to do backsplash all the way up behind the toilet and the sink. And then the laundry room, I decided to switch the washer, dryer, and the sink. So when you first walk in towards the sink. And I don't know why in Chief they show the washing machine and it looks just like a dryer. But it is labeled as a washing machine. So right here in the 3D, it actually looks like the dryer, but I don't know. It is what it is. So here I've slowed the screen down a lot, just to compare the two that I started with. So here was the original, which I thought we could make it a little better. And I posted a rendering of this side that I did on Facebook, and someone brought up the point of, oh, that's not a working triangle here because of the fridge or something. And the kitchen triangle, that kind of started in the 40s, and when kitchens were smaller and there were less appliances, like they didn't have Instant Pots, air fryers, all of these things everywhere. And houses were very compartmentalized back then. So the kitchen was the kitchen, and that's where the kitchen was. So the working triangle was meant to make it easier to work. And sometimes that just doesn't apply to today's kitchens. Kitchens now are bigger, a lot bigger. As you can see, a lot of people want, just like this, they want an island that's one level because they want more dining space instead of just having a separate dining room. So that's what we've done here. And they do it on this plan too, and they give you a middle island. So in terms of working triangle, this kind of had a triangle, but it was very spread apart in my opinion. And I think the original picture that I copied had all of this much closer together, but crammed together. So that's kind of what bothers me, is that I like to have a clear path when I'm doing kitchens. I don't like to have things crammed together. So that's why I thought I could redesign this. Now, here again, I look at kitchens like a puzzle. So yeah, you could move this fridge and put it somewhere else if you want to. For me, I felt like that was the best spot. You could potentially put your cooktop over here instead. With this particular layout, all of these walls here are off a garage. So I thought it was kind of interesting that there were no windows anywhere. A lot of people like to have windows in their kitchen, but this one just didn't. So, but yeah, you could lay this out again. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can do it. For me, I just wanted to show a little bit bigger pantry. There's the original right there. And to me, like, they had this here, and all of this was just really crammed. Like, you never really want to put two major appliances together like that. So that's why I separated the two. Now, a lot of people now, they want a coffee bar. I get that a lot. So I thought, well, if we put a landing right here, this could be a coffee bar. That would be kind of cute. So that's how I changed that. And I put the oven over here so that you could potentially stand over here to open it, or here, or you probably would have enough room right in front of it too. There's the washing machine that looks like a dryer, but it's also labeled as a washing machine for some reason. So here is the physical camera that you're seeing. And every time I move it, it has to focus just like a real camera would. And then I have to do what's called denoise, which basically gets rid of the static that you see. So every time I'm denoising it, And your screen might be a little pixelated just because I've had to blow it up so much, but on mine it's much clearer than this. It looks very lifelike, but every time I use my physical camera, I have to denoise it and focus it like a real camera would. Whereas the standard camera, that's the standard camera right there. So it renders very quickly, but it's very basic. So you don't get reflections really. You do in the mirrors because it's acting as a mirror, but anything else, it's just flat. You don't see those really cool details that you do in the physical camera. So here I'm just kind of checking out the bathroom. I thought it'd be cool to do backsplash all the way up. I was trying to find some cool shelves. I don't know if I really like those or not, but I guess they'll work for now. But this is the amount of time it takes to do design and drafting, and I don't think a lot of people realize that. But if you could imagine having a homeowner who maybe they don't know what they want and they're not visual and they can't see it, you're rendering these things and changing materials multiple times. So if this took me 3 hours in one day, and that doesn't include the time I spent drafting the first version, the as-built, what I would call the as-built, just imagine if you have maybe a whole house or several rooms and you have a homeowner that needs to see different materials, different floors, different countertops. So it becomes very time consuming. And what I do to show these homeowners after I've got my layout pages set, so those are the pages that have the architectural block on them, I go around with my physical camera here and I do snapshots of their room and their space just like this. And I send those photos, those renderings to the layout view. So then I can print those off and they can see those. So it's kind of a presentation. And that's kind of what I'm doing here just to show what's possible. But yeah, with design, there's so many things you can do, like molding, door styles, hardware changes. Here I actually did rope lighting to represent under cabinet lighting. With this one, I was playing around with the backsplash, and for some reason I just didn't care for the tile, and I wanted to see the quartz. This is Cambria in my catalog. I wanted to see what that would look like on the backsplash, and I think it looks really pretty. But you can tweak all the colors on these things. Maybe somebody wants nickel hardware or, brass. All of these things could be changed, but all of that is very time consuming. So if you just put that into perspective for somebody who designs like me, that's essentially what you're paying for. You're paying for us to build you a representation of what your home could be and a concept of what could be. Or just like trying to find the perfect lights that look pretty good. I went through several lights, deleted several that I didn't like at all until I arrived at those, and I thought, oh, those are pretty cool. So, but this is what design is. And again, I always say design is not linear. It's more of a roller coaster. A lot of people think that, oh, this is what I want, so you're just going to whip this up and show this to me. And there's so much more to it, so much time involved. And I think homeowners sometimes don't understand that, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. But anyway, this is what drafting is, and I just wanted to show kind of the before and after of what I started with the other day. And I'll post that video or link it in the description of this one to show you guys. But this is me here just taking that physical camera and working it around just to show different angles and views of what it could look like. And beyond over here, they had a dining room. And then on the opposite side of this island was all living room. So it was a pretty big area. And I can actually do 3D walkthroughs, and I've got a couple videos with a walkthrough in it. And I can also show this view. This is perspective overview camera, and it shows with no ceiling, basically. You'll see some things like this here. This is an exhaust fan. These are lights. So it's going to show you from that point of view down. And this is a side-by-side comparison here. Now, I didn't finish this one the other day because I just wanted to do the top down and just the basics of it. And then I really get into the details over here so you can see kind of the difference in the amount of detail that goes into it. And you'll have to let me know what you guys think. Do you like this option better? Do you not like it? Do you like this option better? I think it really depends on how you're going to use it in your family. And like I said, the whole kitchen triangle thing, like this one didn't really have one. But this one sort of does. But it also depends on, do you have one person working in your kitchen? Do you have two people working in your kitchen? It really just depends on your lifestyle. So with that, I just wanted to show you this comparison and what I came up with from the first video. So if you guys have ideas, if you have other floor plans you want me to recreate and remodel on my program, just let me know. And I will see what I can come up with. I love doing that. It's really fun for me. It's a challenge. But yeah, you can send those to me and on Facebook or email or whatever, or comment below, hey, I found this floor plan. Someone sent me one the other day. It was pretty bad, so I might have to do it. But yeah, if you guys have any other ideas, let me know. And yeah, that's what I have for you today. So this is Tracy with Weaver Design Company, and we'll see you on the next one.